As a professional anime girl researcher, it is my duty to bring our knowledge to the general publics about why do we feel neuron activated when we see anime girls, and I'm here to answer the mystery with scientific explanation. Just like Albert Einstein with general relativity, we are the one that advanced civilization and humanity to the next level. Alright, I don't even know what am I even mumbo-jumboing about. It seems like the common practice of gacha game industry nowadays is to design a characters that is as neuron activated as possible without turning into an adult game. We saw that with Nicole, Jane Doe, and now Evelyn. But let's talk about the newly announced characters, Astral Yao first, or in Chinese, Yao Jia Yin, which you can literally translate it into the sparkling star that has good voice. Yep, that's the meaning of it. So when I see these characters for the first time, I thought HoYoverse came out with some really bold design because the design is not so orthodox, not the safe design by any means. Especially in business perspective, you kind of want to make sure that your product would sell. But as soon as I saw this post on Facebook that she actually shares lots of similarity with the Yoru from the Spy family, and I was like, oh, yeah, a black-haired woman with gold accessories. Now I see why they dare to came out with this design. And apparently she's a Cantonese because she sang a Cantonese song. And I like the part that she accidentally cut off part of her bang in the morning. Now I know it's intentional, but that's the scenario that I would like to imagine. And she unironically has all the stereotype that a Hong Kong superstar would have. They just gotta go with the long black hair. I don't have any issue with that. It's just that they kinda look the same when you put them all together. And I'm saying this as a Taiwanese. Like, come on, white people also looks the same from our perspective. So let's start with her weapon. And I believe that is actually a mic. A really huge mic. And it's definitely inspired by one of those antique mic. As you can see from the photos, it is called carbon mic, and this is another better photo taken 80 years ago with iPhone Pro 61, and we can also see a huge diamond in the middle of it, but they're also making it look like a magic wand. And her sunglasses, not only her frame is golden, you can also see this little star in the middle of the lenses, which is a pretty good icing on top. And you can also see this some sort of the celestial map on her dress, because you could see a lot of star element on her dress. And she even has this bracelet, which is also a pretty typical Chinese bracelet. Even my mom have it. But what actually caught my attention is the accessories, like her earring and her hair pieces. They are all the combination between gold and the jade, and we can also see the pearl on her neck and her side. And what I want to point out about the hair accessories is that the white rope on her hair pieces is called the tassel, which beautifully contrasts with her hair. And you can also see the element of jade. And the same go with the earring, is the base is made out of gold and the choice of jewelry is also jade. It's a pretty typical Chinese choice of material for the accessories. And what caught my attention about her earring and her necklace is that it's definitely inspired by the Aztecs, which is also predominantly made out of gold and jade. Especially her necklace seems to be that way. You can see a lot of similarity between those accessories. And since Aztec is the civilization that worships sun, I think we could assume that she might have something to do with Sunbringer. I mean, like the Sunbringer is the one who invented the bamboo. And I think it wouldn't be surprising if the corporate that making the bamboo also own the entertaining company. Of course, these are just speculation. But speaking of big corporate, in Japanese version voice line, when Evelyn is looking for Astral Yao, she called Astral Yao Ojo-sama.
お初にお目にかかるイブリン。アストラお嬢様のマネージャーと身辺警護を兼任している。
Which indicate that she's not hired by the Astral Yao directly, and probably hired by her family, because Ojo-sama means the daughter from a privileged family. which is the details that you don't see in the Chinese voice line and the English voice line. Because in Japanese, if Astral Yao hired her, Evelyn would call her bossu or maybe aruji, which means master. So it indicates that Astral Yao is coming from the privileged family, just like Lucy. But the differences is she's a high-profile public figure while Lucy is not. So it would make sense that they hired somebody with a competence background. And one thing that I noticed in the main story about their interaction, Astral Yao is pretty much a perfect being in the publics, but she would act like a child and need Evelyn to babysit her when she's in private with Evelyn. And I think this interaction is exactly the same with an anime that I saw, Love is War, between Hayasaka and Shinomiya. While Evelyn is her personal security and manager to the Astral Yao, Hayasaka is also a personal security but also a maid to the Shinomiya. And I think their vibe are pretty much the same. Both are very competent with their work. There's even this scene with Hayasaka where she dressed as a spy to complete some of the goofiest mission because the anime is supposed to be comedic. So I think Evelyn has to be inspired from these characters directly, but with a mix of Kafka and Honkai Star Rail, because both of them are using the same choices of weapon, which is the string. And technically Evelyn is harder than Kafka because her attribute is fire while Kafka is electric. The strap on her body would make majority of the audience associate that she's some kind of bodyguard, because usually the strap is supposed to hold the gun holster. And I think the accessories on her tie is also Aztec inspired. I might be wrong on that, but that's my impression with it. So I think we could expect the same style of accessories from other characters in the new faction, the Stars of Lila. And the accessories on her waist is a typical Chinese accessories. It seems like she wears latex as her trouser, but we'll just pretend that is a really tight leather. The design team definitely know what they're doing. Because the texture looks the same with her suits, it would turn her into a manager if she wear that suit properly. And of course, it's not just an ordinary suit and trouser, it's the fashionable one. As you would notice, the inner part of the suit is red, which beautifully contrasts her body proportion. It reminds me of the Devils Wear Prada, where in the fashion world, it's a norm for people to dress themselves as a fashionable being. I don't exactly how it's supposed to work in real life, but I think it looks pretty cool in the fictional setting, and it makes good sense to be like that as they are working in the entertainment industry. I think we could expect to see an adventuring types of characters, where you could see a guy who wears fashionably in this faction. And yeah, I definitely want to pull for Evelyn. She gave me these levels of impact as much as Bernice back she was announced. And once again, Zenless Zone Zero just nailed their design. There are so many attention to details on this one, and I just feel the urge to share it with you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys.